Ladies and gentlemen, very good afternoon again to all of you and namaskar, vanakkam. We have with us a third generation politician, a dentist by profession, and Minister for Higher Education, Karnataka. Uh, uh, to begin the conversation, I think that you should first tell our audience and the students why the state education policy is better than NEP, if I may put it that way. How would you, what would you like to tell us about state education policy? I think in the earlier batches are now in transition, the ones who are admitted under NEP. Tell us a little about that, because it's a transitional phase right now. So is the state education policy already operational in some ways? Maybe you should give us a sense of all this to begin with.
Vanakkam, good afternoon to one and all here. I thank Edu Think for inviting me for this conclave. Coming back to the question posed before me, the NEP 2020 was the first thing to be introduced in the state of Karnataka in the entire country. It was in the previous government. In the year 2021, they introduced national education policy. And from the beginning, the Congress party, which I belong to, was opposing this policy, which was rather introduced in haste. And probably, you know, how much of discussions had gone through and how the stakeholders were taken into confidence, how the whole thing happened. Then once we came to power, it was part of our manifesto that we are going to get our own state education policy. So since we came to power in the month of May 2023, we didn't want to straight away withdraw the NEP which was introduced, because as a sensible government, we cannot jeopardize the prospects of the students who are already part of NEP in the year 2021 and as well as 2022. So we let go with the admissions for the year 23. But then we formed a committee to formulate the state education policy. And we chose the former UGC chairman, Professor Sudhakar, to head the committee. And then they did an extensive study. They went through, they involved a lot of stakeholders. They invited all the universities, private universities, and all the faculty, and all around the state. They went around and they deliberated in a big way. And then they gave an interim report. And then we brought in that policy we introduced with the interim report in the year 24-25. My basic reservation with regard to NEP is that, see, there are a lot of things which the NEP speaks. See, because we have in Karnataka in the degree program, the degree program is for 3 years. You have engineering courses for 4 years. You have medical courses for 5.5 years, including the internship program. Here, they introduced a degree program saying that the 4th year is optional. See, when you look at the infrastructure in all the institutions, when you make something optional, it becomes such a big problem for the institutions to see what the numbers are. See, whether it is infrastructure-related issues, faculty issues, everything comes. And moreover, when it comes to the curriculum as such, we had 3 core subjects. You know, everybody, I think, moreover, everybody is following the 3. Suddenly, they said it is only 2 core subjects and 1 open elective was given. So this is when there was a serious objection from all quarters saying that your basic foundation itself is not strong enough, because we have very limited options after you complete your graduation to move around for your post graduation, select a particular field for to pursue further. So this is one area. And also when
But that was the exit option that was there in NEP, that you can exit with a degree, or you can, advance it with a postgraduate degree. So that something that
see
state education policy thought that could be problematic.
no. It is like there was option of multiple entry, multiple exit. All these options were there. I'm coming to that later on. Because when you talk about multiple entry, multiple exit, because you call as the first year as a certification course, and second year is as a diploma, the third year is as a graduation. Then like this you name it, and there was a like feeling that you are allowing the dropouts, you are entertaining the dropouts, and though there is a credit system what we have, and probably you can come back, but you know the mindsets of the students now. So because of that, what the positive thinking in NEP about the multiple entry and exit, probably it doesn't work in our system. It doesn't work in our system. So with these things, and with the core subject, for example, if somebody takes open elective in a degree college where there is arts and science or commerce, somebody chooses cyber security or some other issue, where do you get the faculty? See, it might work in private universities where there is a solitary campus where you have all the field, like engineering field, and you have the humanities, you have social science, you have medicine, everything. Probably there the mobility is easy, where the students from various subjects can come and sit through cybersecurity classes. But in an institution where there is only arts and science and commerce, where do you get the faculty? As such, our institutions are falling short with the faculty. We are all imparting education, training with guest faculty. When that is the case, how do we address these issues? So like this, there were many more issues where we discussed in depth, and then we decided that we should have an inclusive policy where we focus on the foundational level so that our foundation is strong. And then probably there could be any mobility, then any lateral movement or anything could happen later on.
Okay, then let's look at Karnataka education system per se. You have a very divergent educational portfolio there. You have over 90 institutions, so public, state,
93
deemed,
universities.
and then over 5,000 colleges.
4,700 odd colleges.
Around 5,000 colleges. So when we look at the public, the state, and the deemed universities, and then you look at the colleges, how do you define, how do you look at the curriculum that, which is the core area of our discussion? Curriculum innovation in colleges and deemed universities and private universities as opposed to central institutions. How do you innovate it? How do you move away from a degree-centric institution to an innovation-centric? How do you train the students? Because you've already listed the problem where faculty is concerned. How do you look at that? And do you also have the industry education alignment here, or how does it work? Give us a sense of all this.
See, coming to the structuring of the universities, see, deemed to be universities are independent, and they have their own board of studies, they have their own curriculum, they have their individual curriculum, and they're free to do whatever they feel fit, and probably to have a better quality of education, so they are free to do. Coming to the private state universities, even they too have the autonomy of having their own curriculum. But when it comes to our public universities, we need to think in a different way, because the type of students who come and join the public universities, it's all people who can't afford high fee structure in the private or even in the other universities. So this is where the challenge comes. And as you were saying, that things have changed now from just awarding degrees to just going with the regular standard content-related the courses, whatever we have. Now the demand is that we should have industry aligned, or rather industry academia synergy should be there to have more skill is being, a lot of emphasis is given to skilling. So which is what I think the curriculum which used to be static earlier, it has to become dynamic curriculum where we need to keep updating the curriculum as and when it is required. Probably the industry has to probably come forward and join hands with the academia so that we can have a curriculum which is going to make our students job ready. This is what we have to see. When we talk about other like professions like medicine or dentistry, we have a curriculum structured where we have theoretical knowledge as well as the clinical exposure, so that once we walk out from the institutions after our internship, we are ready to practice, or we are ready to get employment easily. But it's not the same way in other aspects. When you look at even technical education, you need to get additional skilling done, or even in other subjects of humanities, social science and other things, where probably additional skilling is required. So this is where I think we need to have a big change in the entire curricular structure now.
So what about the interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary areas that you would like to, because I think the state education policy has a problem with the multidisciplinary this thing. So can you tell us a little, because you were sharing with me in the afternoon about this, give us a sense of that.
See, when I was a student, we were all part of a multidisciplinary university, wherein medicine, engineering, and all these courses used to be, or these institutions used to be part of the regular universities. But over a period of time now, for the past 25 years now, Karnataka, probably Tamil Nadu, I think, started with the first medical university, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's the first thing it happened. Probably the rest of the states followed this, like Karnataka came out with a medical university and then came out with a technical university. This is when all these public universities, which were multidisciplinary till then, became mono universities. And this is when this concept of multidisciplinary is not going to be practically implementable in such a scenario. And as such, there is a serious problem with regards to faculty over a period of time. Throughout the country, there is a big gap where the recruitments have not happened time to time. The quality of education is probably dependent on the guest faculty who are there, and the numbers are increasing. The UGC says that only up to 20% we can take guest faculty. Now, when I take Karnataka as an example, we have more than 14,000 guest faculty in technical and non-technical courses. So like this, I think the multidisciplinary concept to introduce, I think you need a lot of faculty infrastructure faculty is required, and physical infrastructure is required, and a lot of other facilities have to be put in. So that's why I think this multidisciplinary concept could be workable in a private university, wherein they have all the freedom to establish, probably bring in all these things without any hurdles.
So is Karnataka government taking any steps to fix the faculty issue?
Yeah, we have actually, in fact, the last, in the year 24, we recruited about 1,200 assistant professors. And now again, we have about 2,000 posts being sanctioned to our department. So we are concentrating more on technical education. You know, AICT is very stringent, the rules are so stringent that it specifies that a 60 intake subject required. This is the faculty ratio, student faculty ratio. I think accordingly we are trying to focus and see that 80% of the vacancies are filled up, and then the remaining we are going to give it to the collegiate education. So still I think we have planned to keep on increasing the faculty strength and to strengthen the quality, because you know UGC is very serious about the qualifications. Even for the guest faculty, the UGC is very serious about the qualifications. So I think we are very serious, and we are working even to fill up the vacancies in the universities. There is a big gap of faculty requirement in the universities. So there also we are looking very seriously, and we have convinced our Honorable CM that it is the need of the hour. And in fact, recently, the Apex Court has come down very heavily when it was dealing with the suicide rates of students in the higher education institutions, saying that even the faculty issue is also one of the reason. And they have said that the earlier you have to fill in all the vacancies of the faculty.
Yeah. Also, I think mentorship, the concept of mentorship is also missing largely in a lot of universities, maybe because of the paucity of faculty. You mentioned faculty-student ratio. I noticed that your engineering colleges, you have the cutoff for student admission has been dropped. Instead of taking 400, 500 students in an engineering course, I think you've cut it down to a certain number. Could you give us the logic behind this? Because I know that a lot of engineering colleges have been doing this, but in Karnataka, what is the mandate? How would you
See,
look at this?
coming to engineering colleges, Karnataka has got only 17 government engineering colleges, about 6 the university constant colleges. But we have a very huge private engineering colleges, private ecosystem. I think you all know. In the entire country, Karnataka was the state which was having this private institution ecosystem, which started probably way back 70, 80 years ago. And that's how Karnataka is leading in the higher education landscape. But what I have seen is with the trend of increasing more number of computer science related streams, I think people are like too overzealous, saying that they want 500 seats, 600 seats. And the private universities need not go before AICT. They can just come before with, if they have the requisite facilities, they can have any number. But somehow we are seeing that even AICT also is very very lenient in as far as increasing the seats. So I feel that somewhere we need to put a cap. As a responsible government, we need to put a cap on these numbers, because you know, when it comes to employability, what figures we have is about only 15% of the engineering graduates. We in the common entrance test what we conduct, and with the counseling what we do, we have about about 1.5 lakh plus another another 40,000, another probably around roughly around 2 lakh seats what we have. And even the management seats are falling vacant, and even the seats through counseling also, they're falling vacant. So we feel that I think it's time to put a cap on the number of seats per college, because some colleges are taking 500, 600 computer science related subjects, courses. Some have got 2,000, 2,500. I feel that again the faculty issue will come, because you see a lot of colleges are there in tier 2 and tier 3 cities. And like it's like a big fish eating up all the small fishes. Now the faculty movement happens from the small cities to the bigger institutions. Again, there is an issue of faculty there. Again, the quality of education is going to fall. Everything is like, you know, it's
a cycle. It's a cycle.
So we thought that at least because affordability also is very important. Because since we have very less number of government engineering colleges, at least the private sector gives us 40% seats in their institutions. A student who opts to join in a small city or something, small town, probably the fee structure is much lower compared to the city, tier 2 or tier 1 city. So that way, affordable education could be given to whatever way. Otherwise, if you kill those institutions which are there in the smaller towns and cities, I think it will be doing a lot of injustice. So keeping all these things in mind, we have decided, we formed a committee now. From this year, we have decided whatever committee recommends, we're going to see that we're not going to increase beyond that limit, whatever they suggest.
You know, Karnataka has some of the premier institutions. IIM Bangalore, NLU is there, Indian Institute of Sciences is there, Central University Karnataka is there. So is there any policy that you have built into your SEP where these institutions can mentor, can guide the faculty in colleges, in other, do you have a tie-up, or is the government thinking of taking up some role there, playing a very productive role in trying to tie up with them, to mentor the faculty more than the students, because that way I think you could probably help the faculty to enhance the quality of education, because it's all about quality, end of the day.
See, to be practical, I think the central university, they have their own structure and they have their own limitations, and I don't think they would be able to come out and mentor outside.
But you have IIM, Indian Institute of Sciences,
see,
the faculty, the directors. They can be of some, mentorship should be, since they are in the same state, and Karnataka has been seen, Bangalore particularly, as the Silicon Valley of India. Shouldn't there be a tie-up of some kind?
No. See, what I meant to say is universities, they will not come out, but these premier institutions, what we have created an option of mentorship coming, people who have who are really achieved something in the fields can come, and they can always come and mentor. There's no bar as far as that is concerned. We have a program also for that, and they also, and in fact, we have a lot of online platforms wherein these people come out and they.
But it's not part of the policy.
No. As a policy, like we have an option. Not that there is no chance for them to come. We have given them a lot of opportunities to come, and some people are coming and doing it.
I'm told the time is up. So one last question. SEP, what is the role of research? How do you perceive a research mandate to be
See, if you talk about research, I think we all know how earlier UGC used to support a lot of research activities in various universities. So probably in 10, 12 years, I think the research fund has been not taken away from UGC. UGC doesn't fund directly anymore. And in the SCP, what we have decided is we need to create a separate research fund, and so that we can support the research activities. Because if I have to say honestly, I think research is now taken a backbench.
I think there can be research clusters can be created so that it helps the government. But thank you so much, Minister Saab. Very nice interacting with you.
Thank you. Thanks for
I'm sure the state of Tamil Nadu could learn something, or perhaps you can tie up with the state government here. Thank you very much.
Thank you.